Well, good morning, stampers and crafters. I hope that this video is working. I'm just having a booger of a time trying to figure out Facebook Live. It's fun. We do what we gotta do. Oh, I see Mary's here. Oh, am I working, Mary? I hope so. Anyway, I am just gonna go with it this time. Yesterday, I think I did probably a good 10 minutes before I realized the live video wasn't even going. So there you go. That's how fun Facebook Live can be. I have some really fun cards for you today, and it's going to include items that come from a new release of Celebration that's coming out. So I can't show you the inside of the catalog, but I can show you the fun little products that's in it. Oh, hi Mary. Thank you very much for verifying that I'm showing up okay. But anyway, we are going to use, there's 5 new items coming out in our new celebration that's going to come to you as a customer on March 3rd. Of course, if you want to be a demonstrator right now, you get to pre-order these things. Another fun perk of being a demonstrator. One of the papers that's coming out is this awesome, beautiful foil paper. It's called Flowering Foils, and if you like copper, you're going to love this. Oh, hi, Danette. Copper flowers. What I really like that they did this time on this paper, let me pull it out of here. A lot of times you get designer paper and they put something on the back, so you never want to use the front because you like what's on the back. Well, this one, they didn't put anything on the back, so when you use your front, you're not wasting another good paper. But look at these foils, aren't they beautiful? Hi, Karen and Avenel. Welcome to my Facebook Live today. We're actually broadcasting, I see, where yesterday I think I was telling everybody I did 15 minutes before I realized I wasn't even broadcasting. Then they've got some silver foil in here. Oh, you're gonna look at this. Okay, is this not to die for right there? You can do a whole card just that. Put a greeting on it, you're good to go. Well, we're going to use some of that today, and it's called Flowering Foils, and you can't say it 3 times fast. Also in the new Celebration catalog are these fun vellums, and they're already embossed for you. That's another product that's in there. Let's see, what else do we have that I can show you? They have a couple of new stamp sets. Now, all these items I'm showing you, you can earn with a qualifying order when this releases on March 3rd. Look at this. We need more masculine cards. Look at this adorable stamp set. Well dressed for men. Rise and Shine. There's some people I know love this one. I don't have the old cups, the dies. I don't think I got those yet. But I love the set. I'm a copy freak, so you would think I'd have to have it. Those are some of the new things. And the last stamp set that's in there, gonna love, Tags in Bloom. Great stamp set. So anyway, enough of being all excited. I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to make today. And we're going to be using our Flowering Foil. I cannot say that word. Flowering Foils DSP that's coming. So we're going to make 3 different cards, and we're going to use some watercoloring techniques. I've saved you the painstaking of me fussy cutting these out of the DSP. I actually had to have I had to have my husband do it. I'm losing use of my hand. I'm getting ready to have surgery, but I couldn't cut him, so put him to work in the she cave yesterday. So we have those all fussy cut. And let's start with this one. I really like this one the best. And you're going to see how quick these can be made to order. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start out. You have your card bases, which are, let me grab one here, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I had somebody ask me what I meant when I tell you, when you score something, to fold it. And I mentioned on a last video, fold it mountain in. When you score, you've got an indentation and a mountain. So when you have, Stampin' Up! Paper is very high quality, so it doesn't crack. But if you're using a thicker paper, like maybe our heavy cardstock or even some of the DSPs, if you learn to fold your crease on the mountain in, so you're going to, where the mountain is, and then this is your indentation, so you're folding it mountain in, what that means is it will keep your paper from cracking on the edge. I don't know if you've had that happen, but it can. So that's what I meant. Somebody asked me to clarify that, and that's what I meant by folding your crease mountain in. Little tidbit there and a little trivia. Okay, now we're also going to need my go-to, almost wore out stitched rectangle dies, and we're going to make some frames. So we're going to take the largest one and then skip one and do the next size, and that creates our frame. And we're going to run those through. I've got some scrap white here, and I'll show you how we do that. I'll pull in my my Vagabond here. Now when you're doing a frame, now I do have a magnetic plate on here, so normally your dies will just sit right on there the way they should. But if you have trouble, then you bring in Sticky Kitty, get a Post-it note, lay your other one in there, kind of, I eyeball it. It's pretty easy to just eyeball to get your frame. And then take your Post-it note and just lay it over it. Let's run it through. I'm actually going to make 2 of these because 2 of our cards need this. And this might be a little noisy. I have a power machine here. I know, Wendy, that paper, you haven't got the paper yet, Wendy? It's beautiful. I'm trying to find your guys' comments here. You know, I will get this Facebook Live. I know I can do it. I was so frustrated yesterday. I couldn't do anything but laugh. Yes, my mountain becomes a valley, Mary. Okay, now we're going to pop our frame out of here, which I love doing frames on cards. It's something simple that just adds a really nice touch of interest to something. So, I don't know. I just think it's a nice added touch to. I do it on a lot of my cards. I know those of you that do card swaps with me know you get a lot of them with frames. I'm just trying to be careful here not to tear it. And let's cut out one more because we've got one more. And save your centerpiece because we need one of those for the 3rd card. So we're trying to get as much as we can out of the paper we have. So let's do one more. You know, I noticed the other day, I've been now really watching everybody. I belong to a really neat team, and there's some very talented people that do card making videos, and I always get nervous that I'm taking too long or something like that. You know what? I found I enjoy that. I enjoy just making, sitting with them while they're making their cards. It is so relaxing to me. So I thought, you know, because a lot of times I have this stuff pre-done for you. But you know what? Today, we're going to make these cards together. Can't pop it out of there. Thank you, Wendy. You're so sweet. Hugs. You gotta be one of my super fans, Wendy. You put up with all my little flaws and quirkiness. Oh, Tammy from Minnesota. Wow, what is the weather there? We're gorgeous here. It's sunny, and I think it was in the mid-50s yesterday. So I think our chance of snow is finally might have dissipated. All right, so now we've got our card base. Let's bring in our flowers, and we'll color them all at the same time, because I'm going to use the same technique on all three cards. So I'm going to bring in my little scratch paper here. And let me see if I can find your guys' comments a little easier. I've got a, those of you that do these videos probably know better than me how to pull up people's comments, but you know what, we're just gonna wing it. Alright, I think I've got you now. Let's see. Alright, let's color. Alright, it's early in the morning. Let's color. So, what we're going to use for this, let me move my frames aside, is we're going to use our aqua painter, which I should have probably added water. But you don't need a lot. And we're going to use Rich Razzleberry and Granny Apple Green. And you will see when I open mine, ta-da, I always have ink in the lids of my my stamp pads. I do so many techniques. I just put drops of re-inker in there, and see, I've always got them ready to go. And I stuck my finger in it already. This is why we have the name Ink Spot. I constantly have ink on me. Actually, the name, the Tina's Crafty Ink Spot came to be my husband always calling me, you got an ink spot, on your shirt. He does my laundry. Oh, you're going to warm up to 27 today, Tammy? I'm so sorry, that's like our low at night. Alright, let's start with the flowers. And you're going to get your aqua painter wet. You can see it. Put it in here. Now, you do the same as you would with your blends markers. You're going to start at your darkest spot. And let's go in, add those. And then just let the ink come off, and now it's fluid. Just spread it on your... I'm going to add a little water here so it'll flow. And then just pick up a little, touch it to your... See how the water bleeds the color? It'll flow with the color's going to follow the water. And it's always going to dry just a little bit lighter than what you see. Okay? So we're just going to spread that around a little bit. And then, if you want some, say, lighter accents, just take a tissue and dab up a little, okay? Don't really have to. Like I said, it's going to dry a little bit lighter. So I'm going to add water here. I've still got a little bit of color on my aqua painter, so that'll give me the light colors on my flower. Pick up a little, just dab it, and let it flow with the water. Put it in the spots where you would normally have your dark tint, okay? And let it flow out with the water. Watercolor is supposed to, the idea or the conception of most watercoloring is that you're giving your, the person that's looking, you're just giving them an idea. So watercoloring is about giving an idea about something. So it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be, although there are people that do exact watercolor art, which I'm trying to teach myself now, but it's more of just adding an idea to an image. So there, we've added some ideas to that one. Since this is already in the Razzleberry, we're going to color our other ones. So it's still got some color on it. I wish I could stay up with your guys' comments. Oh, Karen, you'd love watercoloring, especially with these little aqua painters. Just get your image wet. So I'm squeezing a little bit and putting, you don't need a lot of water, especially on this designer paper right here, because it's got a smooth surface. Okay, so I'm going to add a little water. I'm just going to pick up a little color and let it bleed out on my flower. Okay, there we go. You can always go back and add more if you wanted. Okay, so we're going to set that one aside. This paper's got a smooth surface to it, so you might see a little bit of granulating, and that is actually the ink itself, because it's not watercolor ink, it's actually a dye-based ink. So it might, but in this concept, when you're doing it with watercolor, it just adds texture is all. So I'm just putting some water on my flowers. Just add a little bit. I think my pen's running out of water here. See, I'm not working really hard at it, and it'll be fine. Like I tell people, especially my team members, don't overthink your art. Art is made to make you relax and enjoy it, and just add a concept of something different to what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to add some dark highlights on this one, right along where remember on the blends tutorial where I told you on flowers, your shading's going to be behind the other petals and toward the middle. So that's all I'm doing, is adding some dark highlights in those areas. Okay, now let's clean off our aqua painter. Is this video stalling on my end? It appears to be stalling. What is the name of the... Oh, hi, Mary Ellen. The name of the paper is Flowering Foils, and it is being released in the second release of the celebrations, which is available to demonstrators right now. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order it, but it will be available to customers on March 3rd. It's amazing. You're going to want it. You're going to want 2, maybe 3. They're gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And you can earn it for free in celebrations with a qualifying order. Okay, let's color our leaves real quick. And I'm using Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to get my leaves wet. Just put a little bit of water on there. And the way the foil is on this paper, it automatically pools around the foiled areas, or the foiled lines. So it kind of adds the, see how it carries it across the lines? So I'm just touching my ink to the leaves now, and it's going to just flow with the water. I'm touching where I want the darkest to hit first, and let the water carry it out. Isn't that Granny Apple Green pretty? So pretty. Okay, we'll set that one aside. So it's a lot faster than it seems like it. I think I'm jibber-jabbering too much. All right, Danette, have a good day. I'll catch you later. Okay, so now we're going to add our water. And we already have a little bit of green on there, so that's okay. Let it pool up a little bit. It's fine. And then just touch your ink to the pool. And it'll add your dark and light highlights. Okay, set that one aside. I love these little Stamparatus papers. They're good if you're just kind of on the go and want to Alrighty, we've about got these done. We just color them all. Okay, I did forget to bring over my yellow, so what we can do is we'll make quick work of it. Thank you, Karen. And I'm just going to grab my Dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blend. Let's color in the center and these little dotty things here. And then while these are drying, we'll build our card bases. I may want to hit these with the heat tool. I forgot a couple of the little spots of the berries here. So let's get these on here. And I'm just going to hit a couple of these I missed. There we go. So watercoloring kind of just makes quick work of it. I did do one where I used Stampin' Blends on this paper and it worked really well. So I know Granny Apple Green is just, I like the way it makes a vibrant green. You're right, Tony. Okay, well, I'm going to set those aside to dry. And remember, they're going to change color a little bit. When you use watercolor, it'll change color a little bit. So now, like I said, we're doing this one first. This little copper piece comes from the Painted Labels dies. I just thought adding a little copper to carry through the flower was going to be a nice accent. So that's what we're doing. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm just going to grab a little piece of copper foil here and run it through the machine. Sorry, my hand's a little clumsy. Those of you that know me, I'm scheduled to have my surgery April 30th. I'm nervous, but I'm excited, if that makes sense. But they have to fuse C2 to C6 in my neck and hope that it fixes T1. Okay, let's run our little thing through the die cut here. I bet that's really, I don't have my sound on, so I wonder how loud my machine is with it right by the camera here. I wouldn't have been able to craft had my husband not got me a power machine, though. Okay, now, while this is still in the die, I want to take, and I'm just going to use my cutting plate here, because I want the center to be gone out of it. And I'm just going to take a craft knife. Okay, everybody's kind of got a craft knife in their room. And I'm just going to go right around. So make sure you use either some sort of self-healing something or another underneath where you're cutting this. Don't cut it on your craft table. But with it still in the die, it just helps you make a straight circle. we go. Whoops, I must have missed part of it right there. Oh, let me... You know, if I was going to mess it up, I'd... Oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. I don't know. I really need like a, you know, third or fourth opinion on this surgery, I think. I'm just so nervous. There's just so much that can go wrong. But I am going over to Seattle. Seattle has some really good specialty hospitals. Yakima's a real small town. We don't have a lot of available opportunities. Okay, so now we've got this. I'm going to pop little pieces out of it so that I have little pieces of copper all over my room. So you get these cute little... You could save these and use them on cards and stuff if you want, just for like embellishments. Okay, so we've got our circle. Move this out of our way. Alright, so now we have our card base, and I want to do a watercolor background. So, because of the way when we die cut our frame, we have this, but I wanted more of a soft color, a soft sort of bleed, if that makes sense to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of watercolor paper, and I think it'll bleed better. So let's grab, this is our Fluid 100 paper. If you like to watercolor, Stampin' Up! Has the Fluid 100 paper, and it is fabulous watercolor paper. It's top of the line. So let me cut out, let's see if this one's the right size we need. Oh, I guess I got to get another piece. Because what I want to do is I'm going to do a stitched. I should have been a little better prepared for that. Let me grab a piece of it. Okay. So I'm going to cut out 2 of these because we're going to do a watercolor background on the other one. And all I'm using is the small rectangle that we had. So I'm just going to cut 2 of those out. Might be able to get them both out of this sheet here. Hey guys, I hope you don't mind I don't have the machine in the frame of the camera. I don't think it's really necessary. I'm just die cutting. I hope you don't mind. So we're going to do 2 watercolor backgrounds. So we'll do the other card at the same time. Make sure I die cut the right one. So here's one center. And did I not get another piece for the second center? Oh, there it is. Let me cut out. And we have a runner. There it went. To the floor it went. Can't wait till Stampin' Up! Comes up. We're supposed to know, I think, in the spring what kind of die cutting machine they're going to come up with. I'm praying it's Power. I mean, if anybody's heard any hints about it, I'd love to know, but knowing Stampin' Up!, they're going to come up with a really good one. I mean, I love my Big Shot, and I also have I have the Big Shot. I also have a, what is that big one? That big Spellbinders one that you can cut cloth and all kinds of stuff. Is my video stalling, you guys? Because on my end, it is. And hopefully I'm still broadcasting. Alright, so now we're going to do our watercolor backgrounds. And we're going to use our same inks. And on this one, I just want a really light pale blue and pale pink. So let's see what we got here. Let's try some Blushing Bride. and some balmy blue. Hi, Christina. Welcome to my Fumbling Live Facebook Live. Alright, so we're going to grab our aqua painter again. And now, remember, we're just going to do an idea of color. So let's do our first one. And we're using the Blushing Bride here. So I'm going to get my paper a little bit wet with my marker here. Because on watercolor paper, or any watercolor, your color is going to follow the water. Okay? So let's add a little bit of pink in there. Our Blushing Bride. And I don't want to contaminate my blue. So I'm going to grab a little bit of blue. Let's do a little blue there. And then we can pick it up, let it run a little bit. So we're just adding a hint of color in the middle of this. And you can always just use your tissue to dab it up. And there we go. We have a really subtle background that we're going to use. So I'll set that in the drying pile. And on this one, on the original card, I actually did the rich raspberry background. And I think I want to try the light blue background. So let's do that in the balmy blue. I could do it in the pink, but I was looking at the card this morning before the video, and I thought, you know, that balmy blue would look really pretty. Okay, so let's add our water, okay? And I'm just kind of going in the middle here. When you do watercoloring, even with regular watercolor paints, they tell you to get it wet to where it's kind of got a shiny surface. And all that does is it preps the paper for ink or color. And that's what they mean by that. So let's add a little bit of blue. Let's just blend it in here. Now, dye-based inks, I did learn, you know, I mean, I don't know, some of you have seen where I'm trying to teach myself regular watercolor paints. So, this definitely does work differently, but it works just as well. So, you don't have to go buy special paint and ink in it. Your regular Stampin' Up! Inks work fine. So now we want some splatters. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to get some ink on here. Okay. And I'm just going to grab my little tweezers here, and I'm going to flick. And I'm just flicking it to add some spots of color. You can also go like that, okay? But you really don't want it to fly everywhere, so this way it kind of controls it. So I'm just adding some dark splatters. Okay. Wipe off my stuff. You like doing lives, Tammy? Oh. Something tells me we just died. No? Okay, we might be back. On my end, I keep buffering, so you know what, guys? I'm just going to keep going and hope that it is working. So, alright. So we've got our sheets, and that goes into the drying pile. Now, let's get our frame on. Let's get our frame on. Where is my frames? Oh, there they are. So now to do frames, I usually put my frames on first, and I use regular foam strips. And make sure that you've got your right side. And when you're doing frames, try to go toward the middle of your frame. That just keeps it from collapsing. And I usually try to do the whole length of the frame. Again, just keeps it from collapsing. Okay, so get our other one off here. I'm going to show you a trick, because frames, you know, when you use dimensionals or tape, you've kind of, once it touches the paper, you're kind of stuck to where it's sticking. So I'm going to show you a trick I use to give myself a little bit of leeway to make sure I get it on my project straight. And so I'm going to peel this off. So peel off our backing. Now, I think it was Rachel that once talked about using the non-stick on your dimensionals to put underneath and then pull it out. I couldn't find her video to find how to do that, so this is how I do it. What I do is I add glue right over the top of my sticky here. Not a lot, just put a little tiny bead of glue on there. And what that's going to do is give you a second to square it up, and you can move it. You can still move it just a little bit with the glue on there, so that your frame gets straight. It just gives you that couple seconds to, you know, and sorry for putting my head in the way there. Alright, we might have to bring in our heat tool, because some of this is wet. And of course I stuck my hand in it. Of course I did. Well, here's what we'll do. I think the backside's dry. The backside's dry. So when I'm doing my frames, I also inlay my center. And again, I use glue, because glue, you can move it. Some of you are very, very good at tape. You can do that. Me, not so much. So then, I want my pink toward the top. So I'm just going to tuck it in here. Hold it up. Square up those top two corners. And then just drop it in. And you, with the glue, you can shift it around just a little bit. There we go. And we're going to take one of our flowers, and it's going to go about, let's see, where do we want it to go? I think we're going to want it about there, aren't we? So we have to grab our foil here. I'm just laying it there so we have an idea where to put our foil piece. So I'm going to tuck that under there, and I think it's going to go about right there. And that way we've got a little bit of pink showing behind the, oops, I picked it up. I think the paper's damp still. I would suggest hitting it with a heat tool, which I think we're going to have to do. Let me grab a heat tool. Because the paper's wet, it's not adhering the glue. So it only takes a second to dry. So let me pick this up. Make sure our flowers are dry. Aren't those pretty when they dry? There we go. I think we're all dry. So let's try that one more time. Did I really stick my head right there in the camera? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay, so now that's still pretty tacky. Let's see if we can get it in there now. Oh, wunderbar. Guess what? When it's not wet, it sticks. Okay, so now we're going to grab our flour. Where did I... There it is. And I think I want it to go... Probably... I wonder if I'm going to have to trim that part off right there. I really want them on there, so I think I'm going to figure out how to glue that on there. Okay, so I know that these parts right here are going to glue to the frame, so I need dimensionals underneath the rest. Which is over on this side. So let's add some dimensionals. And this is fairly thin paper, and it's been watercolored, so don't skimp on your dimensionals. You don't want it to be, you know, floppy. So let me grab some minis too. Wow, my minis, look at this. You might have a dimensional problem if you actually cut minis in half. Yep, I do that. I actually cut my minis in half. Alright, so let's see how that's going to sit on there now. Okay, got plenty of dimensionals now. We're going to add one more little dimensional right there, because that's right at our image spot. So now let's pull these off. Okay. And then right on the edges, we're going to add glue where it's going to be touching our frame. So we know it's got a little bit on that leaf, a little bit here, a little bit there. That'll get us started. And now we're just going to lay it on here. And see there? And with the dimensionals there, it just pops up on top. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue right behind this guy here because he's loose. How quick was that? Now for the greeting, let's grab Label Me Bold, love it, and we're going to stamp the greeting. And we're also going to die cut the U from the well-written. I use these for every... I love die cut words. Who doesn't love die cut words? Okay. I know, sometimes you can only fit a half a mini. We might need an intervention if we are cutting mini dimensionals in half. That's a... I don't know. You gotta worry about us stuff. When they came out with minis, I was so darn excited I couldn't stand it. Okay, so let's go with the 4U, and I'm just going to be using the 4. Let me find a little tiny scrap of white here. We might be able to stamp the greeting for the other one too while we're here. Try to make all 3 of these at the same time, basically. What does the other card have? It has happy birthday, so let's grab the happy birthday too. Let's go ahead and do them both. There we go. We're going to use just regular black memento. You can emboss these too if you wanted. You could heat emboss them. Oh, I just got the black ones, Mary. I wasn't sure that I would use them, but I've come across several occasions where I have. As a matter of fact, they're right here. And I love that they give you the minis and the regular ones in the pack when you buy it. Okay, when you're doing these solid stamps, I usually ink it and stamp it more than once, just so I get a nice crisp image. There we go. Okay. And since we've got our heat tool, I'm going to hit that with the heat tool since it's a lot of ink, just to make sure it doesn't smear when I touch it. There we go. Move this aside. And we are going to take a little scrap of black and do the word U. I just wanted to mix it up. You could just use the for you there, but you know, sometimes just changing it up makes all the difference on a project. And at least in my weird little eyes. The more little detailed things, the better. Now we have the U. Okay. A lot of times I have a bunch of these already die cut, you know, the birthday and all that, to where I'm working on a card. Just grab one and put it on there. I have a little, like, envelope, a little tiny die cuts I keep. Hi from Wisconsin. Hi, Sandy. How's the weather where you're at these days? Okay, so now, just going to cut these out. I'll cut out that birthday when we do that card, because if I cut it out right now, I'll probably lose it in this space. And I only need the 4 because we're going to do for you, so I'm just going to cut off the 4 here. And we've already got a runner. Where to go? Where to go? Okay, so let's see. So now, I'm going to take one of those little black dimensionals we were just talking about, Mary, and I think I'm going to trim it. I've already done that. That would work great with this because it's a little tiny black thing. So I'm actually going to trim the edge of my dimensionals here and just make a tiny little bar of black. And then put it on the... Wow, good guess on that. It's almost the exact right size. Now we'll just put the 4. Let's put it about... Let's do it offset from the center just a little bit. And then we'll grab our U. Get the little... There we go. I'm just going to add a little glue. And let's just pop that in there. Do a little touch up here. I missed some glue on the back of this. There we go. And there we go. Now, if we want, we could add... Where's our original? I'm going to take, and these little champagne rhinestones match perfectly to the, to the copper. So I'm just going to grab a couple of those. Let's do this one here. Let's put it there. How about a little one? And we'll just put it there. Should we do another? What do you think? What do you think? Huh? Okay, we'll do one more. I'll just do a little tiny one. Let's just set it over here. And there we go. There's our first one. And somehow I got ink on there. So, I don't know if I showed you, it's on one of my other videos. If you haven't seen these are by Mono. They're sanding erasers. I live for mine. See where I put my tiny little fingerprint there in the ink? I use this little sanding eraser. I mean, you have to be gentle because it is a sander. But you just, when you get all the way to the end of a card and you put an ink print, I can't live without, as you see, mine's well used. See there? Removed it. Okay, there we go. There's card one. And now, let's move this aside. Okay, now, on card two, we're going to do this one, but remember we did a blue background on that one. So, let's grab our card base. Mountain in. Now, if you wanted to, you could add sparkle to this. Remember I showed you how to flick paint? You can flick paint your Wink of Stella also if you wanted to. Or just take your Wink of Stella. You can either do like I just showed you where you flick, or just take and do a couple dots. Just randomly do a couple dots. Just kind of adds. There you go. You know, it's got to have bling. Bling, bling. There we go. Now let's do our frame again. Do it the exact same way we did the other one. You didn't have to throw it on the floor. I threw it on the floor though. Let's do this. I try to make sure, I think I told you, that the whole area of a frame has dimensional on it. You just don't want it to collapse. I think teaching took me longer to do these cards than when I made them. I thought, oh, 3 cards? That seems like it'll be long. But no, it's really not. It's probably because I'm jibber-jabbering. Oh, Linda, you've got one of the sanding erasers too? I know. I can't live without it. I just... When I found that a few years ago, I was just in awe. That and the glue eraser. Cannot live without that one either. Okay. Oops. Stuck to me and not my cardstock. Let's add our glue. You would think as many framed cards as I do, I would trust myself to just lay it down without doing the glue part. But about the time I don't, it's going to be when it's so off center. So let me see if I can do this without putting my head in the camera. I see that I got blue ink on this, but I think it's going to be okay. just a little touch of it. You know, it's little tiny things like that that I think as the creators, we are the ones that notice them. Other people don't. They really don't. It's just us. So now we're going to do our blue background. I really liked the idea of doing blue. So we're going to tuck that in. Now when you are doing the watercolor paper, I would suggest whatever adhesive you're using, glue or tape, go all the way to the edges as close as you can get. And see how watercolor paper sort of warps when you wet it? So this way you can just make sure it's flat. So we're tucking it in there. Can you guys hear my little fur baby? Every time I come in here and I close the door, she barks at me at the door. My dogs, they hate closed doors. It's not that they want to come in and be with me or anything. They just don't want the door closed. Okay, so now we've got our blue. And I just think this is going to look better. Although I like that one done with the raspberry. Oh, yeah. See, I like the blue background. So now we're just going to put dimensionals on this. Let's see, where's that leaf going to sit? Oh, it's okay. Okay, we need a mini. What did I do with the minis? Let's put a mini on here. See if we've got all our areas. Because some of it's going to glue to the frame, so we'll be okay there. Okay, I think we got it. We'll put one more right in the middle. Okay. Hi, Linda from Indiana. Welcome. Hi, Pamela. Make sure I got all my stickies off. Okay, now I'm just gonna figure out where it's set in here. Just add a little bit of glue where it's gonna be on my frame. Oops. Oh, I really like that with the blue background. That came out really nice. Just adds a little something something. Looks like I need to put a little bit of glue right here. Okay, now for the happy birthday. I used but I cut it in half. I kind of liked it being offset, and I wanted more of the focus to go on our image than a greeting. So let's cut this out. I'm really sorry if you guys can hear my little fur baby. She's really unhappy right now. She's getting older too. I think she's going deaf. That, or she definitely has selective hearing. Kind of like a child. She'll pay attention if she learns. Oh, thank you, Christy. That was very sweet. Okay, so we've got our happy birthday, and now, Mary, we're going to bring in those little black, and I'm just going to cut a strip. A little bit longer, and I can use two. Okay, so now, flip those over. And these are the black dimensional. I just thought it would work perfect for this. Okay. Now we'll take our happy and our birthday and attach them, and we're done with card 2. A little piece of my dimensional showing. I'm just trimming that off. But being black, the good thing about that is that it goes with the greeting. So again, I guess that's where the black dimensionals come in handy. And let's just kind of offset that a little bit right there. And there you go. There's card 2. You could add bling to this if you wanted, but the foil's in there. You know, I really think that kind of adds it. So, forgot to do the center of that flower. There we go. Done. Now, if you have an area, you see where this has got the white, take your like light pool party and just color it in, and it just makes it not as bold as a white background, since we have blue there. There you go. See, it's hidden. Just a trick. I mean, it's not something you have to do. It's one of those tips and tricks things. So there's card 2. Which one do you guys like better? Do you like the razzleberry background or the blue background? Which one do you prefer? I don't know. I'm kind of fond of the blue. I think it's a little more subtle. So let's set that set aside. Now this last one, super simple. We've got our card base. And we are going to use the new vellum. I should have my bone folder. Bad for me not to. I know, I love watercolor backgrounds, Linda. I think it's just a nice little touch to add to things. Thank you, Fran. You're so sweet. Yeah, I think blue for sure, Sherry. I don't know why. It's just sticking to me. Okay, so now this one. Remember we had our insert from the frame we made on the other card. This is a regular white insert. But we are going to grab the new vellum. Look at this vellum. They've got, I guess I should see if it says what the colors are. It is Pool Party, Purple Posy, and Soft Seafoam. How perfect for vellum. And they've already embossed it for you. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see that on film. It's so pretty. And I don't know if you're like me. When I emboss regular vellum, I must run my sandwiches through too tight sometimes because it tears it. So now I don't have to worry. It's already done. And to cut it the right size, I'm just going to grab the die cut and just cut one out. I could just cut it, but it's just easier. I know it's going to be the exact right size. And it also puts just a little bit of stitching on the vellum. I've got to try to pop it out of here without tearing it. And now we're just going to, all I'm going to do for this is just use some mini glue dots on 4 corners. That way they don't show. And then I'll just attach it to the white. So that way it has a little bit of stitched along with the design of the vellum. And we're going to add our flower. And I think what I want to do, let's see, how do we want this? Let's put it on about there. I don't think I'm going to use dimensionals. I think I'm going to glue it straight down. And then we'll pop the whole, I think we'll just pop the vellum piece itself up. Now in the first card, I trimmed the flowers off, but let's get your opinion and see if we should do that on this one or not. I think I'm going to put it about, so we want to have room for a greeting. Let's put it about right there. And now we can either just put it on here like this, or you can trim it off. What do you think? Should we trim it or just leave it? I think we should leave it. And this is my party, so guess what? We're going to leave it. Haha. Sorry, you guys. Oh, you're waiting till March to get the paper? Well, it'll be fun, Fran. You're going to love it. Make sure you order right away because this stuff's going to go fast. Did you guys see where some of the celebration stuff sold out? Today, some of the twines and stuff sold out. So, you know, it is while things are available. So, get your orders in when you're ready and you know you want something. I'll definitely be getting some more of the foil paper in March. Okay, and we're almost done with card 3. That wasn't too long. See, these are pretty fast cards. The longest part is just coloring them, like anything else. So let's center that, make sure I'm... There we go. And what happened to our happy birthday? We need another happy birthday, don't we? Okay, let's stamp a happy birthday. I know I have another scrap, or a piece of scrap light here. Let's grab our happy birthday. Ow. I go through so many magnets because I let them clip together. I'm bad, I know. And they warned you the minute Stamparatus and any other stamp positioner came out. I said, hey, don't let your magnets touch each other. Well, I do it all the time. And they break. I do it so often that my husband's figured out how to sand them and fix them and round the edges. Yeah, check the update, Fran. I think it was the metallic twine, the free one in Celebrations, the twine and the embellishments that sold out. Okay, we've got our double stamp there. And Make sure it's dry before you trim it because you have a lot of ink on there. And we're just, oop, and we have a runner. I love these bold kind of black and white greetings. I just think they're, I hope Stampin' Up! Comes out with some more of them. You know, bigger scale. What I'd also like to see them come out with is, you know, where you have a die cut word and then you do like a white frame around it. Maybe I should put in a suggestion box to get that little white frame. I mean, I cut it now, you just cut it, but it'd be nice if they had some with die cuts. I'm a die freak. I have all the dies, all the punches. And sometimes I forget I have them, so I have 2 of some. I should just put them up for sale, but I don't. I give them away as gifts. So we're going to pop that up with a dimensional. And ta-da, card 3. But you know what? Let's add bling. Let's add bling. Got these champagne bling. Just add a couple of those and we're good to go. Let's take a large one here. Put it about right there. And maybe a medium one and put it right there. And a small one, we'll just put it right about there. And there you go, you guys. 3 cards. And I hope you got through it relatively painlessly. But here we go. Here's card 2. Here's card 3. And just adding a little bit of bling added a lot of difference. And what did we do? Here's card 1. And I don't know where the original of card 1 is. This might be the original. Where's our card 1? So hard to work in a small space. Anyway, there's our 3 cards, you guys. A little bit of watercoloring, a little bit of frame action. I hope you enjoyed it. And the good thing about doing this watercolor, try it. Every image is going to come out different. I mean, look how different these are. So you always get something new. You know, so try it. Enjoy yourself. Get yourself a little aqua painter. If you don't have an aqua painter, just get a inexpensive little paintbrush and a cup of water and give it a try. Just take some blank paper and try it. I would suggest trying the watercolor paper, of course, because it moves different. Paper has everything to do with any medium you're going to use, whether it be your Stampin' Blends, your watercolors, regular markers, regular ink. Your paper is everything. And not only because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I will tell you the papers that Stampin' Up! Offers are very high quality and do great. You haven't been able to stamp for 10 days. Oh, Donna, I'm sorry. Thank you for the loves and the hearts. I appreciate it. I apologize yesterday. I had you guys all coming on live and I couldn't get my camera to work. But I think we made it today, and I really appreciate you joining me. And I hope you have a very, very happy Stampin' Day. Bye-bye now.